just a little gym routine. I've already done my warm up, so we'll just work through it. About six, 8 exercises. Actually, I don't even know. I wrote 6 in the description. It might be 8. We'll see. I'm doing a flat bench to start. I like to personally put my feet up on the bench for this one, but obviously you can have your feet down. A bit of a wider grip. Again, trying to keep that rib cage depressed. I'm going to press down towards my chest and power up. I'm going to do more of a kind of 5-second down and 1 second up tempo. And like I always kind of talk about during my videos, playing around with tempo allows you to add some variability or variation into your workouts without actually changing the routine too much and or exercises, but making little changes to your tempo actually really makes the muscles work differently, keep them guessing, and therefore give you some gains that you can maybe not get if you just keep on doing the same routine over and over. Plus, it allows you to switch up your routine without really switching it up, if that makes sense. Rib cage down, easier said than done. I'm going to throw that in with a superset of fly. And a flat bench today. I always find actually when you're first trying to think about that rib cage, keeping it kind of flat against the bench, it actually takes quite a lot of concentration, because I don't know about those people watching out there, but me for sure, I like to flare out my chest when I was doing bench press in the past. And it takes quite a lot of kind of mindfulness to think about keeping it down flat against the bench. With your fly, I always like to try to keep my elbows relatively straight, and then get as low as possible, obviously. So, it's just like the lever arm. The shorter it is, the easier it is. So if you actually bend your elbows, it's way easier. You'll be able to lift way more weight, but I find you just don't get the same stretch. You don't get that same range of motion through the muscle. So you're just kind of cheating yourself out of working through the whole length of the muscle and not just kind of a shortened range by bending the elbows. So, I mean, kind of depends what your goals are, obviously. Like I said, you can lift a heck of a lot more with your elbows bent than you can with your elbows straight. And even just try it out yourself and you'll see. But again, be mindful about keeping the rib cage flat, keeping the elbows straight. And again, even with this, playing with the tempo, slow down, fast up. But I mean, again, you do what you want to work on. That explosive power is actually something that I always like to try to do. That's why I go slow down and fast up. And again, it just increases the time under tension for your muscle. So the amount of time that your muscle is actually working and contracting just gives you that much more benefit, right? I've been counting and just repping it out till fatigue, and maybe not quite failure, but definitely getting tired. This is actually my second set through already. So move this a little bit closer. So I'm just going to do a step up on the kind of platform over there. It's just behind the bench. Hopefully you can still see my arms. But I'm going to choose a pretty lightweight for this one because I've been really trying to be strict on my step up. So with this, again, I've been following a lot Peter Attia these days, and the book Outlive is a fantastic book. It's actually probably one of the better books I've read probably the last year and a half, actually, if not more, but got tons out of it. And he just talks about the, what's it called, Centurion Decathlon. So kind of 10 exercises to do to kind of age well, step up being one of them, and really trying to isolate the glute and the hamstring versus the quad. So in order to do so, when you have your foot up on the bench, you're going to almost slide your hip back to engage that glute before you even move, and really try to think about using just the top leg to step up and not pushing off that bottom leg. locking out the knee basically at the top, and then slowly releasing back down. Obviously, if you don't want to use weight and you want to try that with no weight, it's actually super crazy hard to do this correctly. And I might even be cheating a little bit by using the weight as a bit of momentum. If you can see that, getting it forward. Because like I said, to initiate that movement when you try to isolate the glute by, again, shifting your weight back or shifting your pelvis back before you stand, makes this exercise a heck of a lot harder than if you just kind of blindly stand up without thinking about it. And that way you probably use mostly quad, which is the top of the thigh muscle. And you'll see that's way easier than doing it with that isolated glute. So if you want to do it on a lower step as well, obviously work your way up to a higher step. But you do want to work your way up to a higher step, 24 inches would be great, or even higher if you can. But start small, and then over the course of time, as you can do it without cheating, add weight. An important key to this is, again, also that lowering phase, the eccentric phase. You don't want to just like fall to the ground afterwards. You want to slowly lower yourself down. Easier said than done. The other leg. So again, so this is where my start position is technically. I drive that hip back. You can see that movement, the slight shift of weight back or hips back. And again, I'm kind of cheating by putting the weight in front of me. You see that? When I put the dumbbells in front of me, probably that's technically cheating. But I guess obviously chose a weight that's a little too heavy. I might actually even need to do a few of these more with no weight so I can do this without having to shift weight forward. And then at the top again, like you're driving the hip forward to get vertical or erect or wherever you want to say. I always feel weird saying that word because it sounds dirty. But you do want to get erect when you get up. So you don't want to stop here. You want to stop there, right? And ideally on the one foot, not on both feet like I just did there. Drive the hip back, push off of that top foot, and then slowly back down. And don't let yourself just crash to the ground. That book has always, like I said, I'm just plugging this book. I really, really find it fascinating. It covers so many different aspects of health, but not only physical health, gets into nutrition, gets into mental health, which I find is something that's often overlooked. We spend so much time exercising, working on our diets, and let's call it nutrition, but kind of just let stress and anxiety interchangeably almost, and mental health kind of slide and just kind of always tell yourself, oh, I'm fine, I can deal with it, no big deal. But if you don't deal with your mental health or depression, and you just kind of live your life in a constant state of worry or anger, I find myself anger is my problem. Then what's the point of living a good, healthy, long life, right? I'm going to do this one again. The pull-ups, just do some different positions with my hands. But I always kind of like to think about keeping myself in a bit of a pike position. Makes it a heck of a lot harder. But kind of keeping your feet up out in front of you as you do it. And even if you want to make that super hard, kind of sit in this, kind of flex 90 degrees at the hips and the knees, you find that doesn't do, isn't as a small change to the exercise, but makes it a heck of a lot harder. And just make sure at the bottom of it, you're trying to straighten out your elbows and then pull your chin up all the way to the top. That exercise with the feet up is so much harder than just having your legs dangle and or even like overarching your back. Like most people do chin-ups kind of like with the back arched up. So actually flexing forward and doing it as a significant element of difficulty. I always like to throw in a dip when I do chin-ups at this place just because it's here. I'm totally out of camera here, so that's probably goofy for people watching, but you get the idea, doing dips. Last time I did kind of the additional kind of push at the top, which maybe I'll do to tire myself out at the end. So I'll dip maybe 10 times. And even with this, try not to arch too much in your back and trying to stay vertical. You have your feet out in front. A little press at the top. Dip down, press up, elbows locked. Holy cow, I'm tired today. Just like everyone else out there, I get bagged out too. Long day, working as just a lunch break. Get tired. I might actually do this from a side view just because I want you to see what I'm doing here with this one. So I'm gonna do a single leg, straight leg deadlift. I like to do this one because I just find it isolates each leg individually. And again, just a little different to switch things up. So finding a platform, a wall to be able to stick a foot up on. So kind of around butt level, maybe a little lower. My other foot's just straight out in front of me, about hip width apart. Knee slightly bent. Bend down like you do a normal deadlift. So this one, I find your weight's a little bit further back. And again, isolates that one side. Squeeze the butt on the way up. Get vertical, get erect. The top, get straight. And you should feel a good burn in that butt of the standing leg. Oh boy, tired today. I don't even know how many I did. It feels like I didn't even do that many. Getting pretty bagged out though, so I don't want to hurt myself. I feel the fatigue. I don't know how many more I could do safely with good form, so I'm going to stop rather than just try to force out another rep or two and injure myself. Especially because I'm by myself too, right? I don't have a spotter to help me out if I get stuck. I'm just going to throw in a farmer carry right after that. While my grip is already tired. Spin that around a little bit here. I'm tired of my grip from that last exercise. I'm going to just choose a weight that's pretty heavy and wander around a little bit in the gym. I try to keep my shoulders back a little bit so I don't let them roll in front of me. And as I walk around, I'm going to try to walk forwards. I'm going to walk backwards, sideways. Sometimes I like to step over things or walk through things, sidestep a little bit, crossover step a little bit, a little karaoke grapevine. Just kind of challenge that balance and stability, right? And also the grip strength. And just carry heavy stuff. Because that's a great little full body exercise. Very functional, obviously, too. I mean, it could be done. So I guess if you want to cut it short, that could be a good set. And then try to run through that 3 or 4 times. I'm going to just throw in some fun ones. I always like to do these ones just for fun, but just straight up shoulder press. I might walk while I do it too, just to add elements of stability for it. Oh, I'm out of camera. Trying to keep my rib cage down as well, and not let my rib cage flare out. And then I'll finish off with a bicep curl with a twist. So, I mean, it's just a combination of this. For me, I like to do a bit of a rotation with my wrist so they come up, kind of face my palm towards me, and then finish off with my palms facing my hips So usually I do bilateral together. Try not to swing too much. There you go. And again, sometimes I walk around with this too. Just to have this place myself, why not, right? Kind of like a farmer carry. Get the VO2 up a little bit. Check the balance, stability, and get those biceps going. All right, guys, so there we go for today's video. Lunchtime workout. Hopefully you can get through the whole thing in about 15 minutes. 2, 3, 4 rounds. That'll take you 45 minutes, an hour. We'll catch you next time. See you guys later. Let me stop this thing.